Hi and welcome to another street photography video with me, Nick Turpin. Today I am out in Westminster in London shooting street photography with the Fuji X100F, and I'd like to invite you along. So it's a lovely late spring day in London. It's quite sunny, so there's probably 4 or 5 stops difference between the sunny side of the street and the shady side of the street, which is something that's going to restrict where we shoot and how we shoot and how we expose, how we make pictures. The light and shadow can actually become a subject. It's also very busy. There's lots of tourists about, which means there's lots for us to photograph. But it also means it's quite challenging to pull something neat and organised and composed out of that chaos. So today I'm out shooting with the Fuji X100F. I've been using this a couple of years. I used Leica rangefinders for about 17 or 18 years, and I switched to this 2 years ago. I think this is probably the best camera I've ever used for street photography, shooting on the streets in all that time. It's a tiny little body. It fits into your hand. You can conceal it easily. It takes bigger files than my Canons that I use for my commercial work. It's very, very quick, very, very quiet. It loves to take pictures, and I'm completely happy with that. And I hate to change cameras. It's a big shift switching from one camera to another on the street. I like to work with the same camera, the same focal length, again and again, so that my work has a very consistent look. And also, I get very used to working with it. So when I see something on the street, a scene, I know exactly how far back I've got to be because I'm always working with the same camera. If I see 5 people, I know I've got to be back 3 meters. I see 10 people, I've got to be back 5 meters. Which really helps you to stop messing about. When you see something lovely, event happening, a little street scene coming together, the fact that you know exactly where you've got to stand to get that shot, within a foot or so, that really helps with getting those pictures made. So here I am in Trafalgar Square. I like working here. It's a bit like bit like the museum or the art gallery, but outdoors. Got this sort of pale stonework and all these steps, and people actually look quite good against the stonework. And what's nice is that you get a lot of people here who've never been here before. They're tourists and they love it. They like climbing all over the thing. You get people climbing up, people get helping their girlfriends up, pushing them up by the bum and that kind of thing. And there's always a different little tableau of people here, that you can stretch across the frame, top left to top right to bottom left, for example. So it's just great for people watching. There's always something going on. Now I took a picture here actually when I was out with a guy teaching once, and it's an incredibly simple picture of this lion with a lady's foot, and it's just 2 elements in the picture, and I use it a lot in my teaching now because it shows what often happens in the street photographs where you put one element with another, and there's a dialogue between the two, and obviously this is a very simple dialogue in this picture, but it gives you a new meaning. You put a lion with a cut-off foot. It's just started sleeting in Trafalgar Square. That's why everyone's squealing, putting their umbrellas up. Look, which is just another opportunity for me. So yeah, this simple picture, the lion with the foot, it's kind of the basis for most street photography. Bringing 2 elements, 3 elements, 4 elements, 5 elements together, building a dialogue between all of them that has a new meaning. And you're creating that dialogue by framing, by bringing those things together by the act of photography. Like those umbrellas. That guy was nice against the sky for a moment, wasn't he? Is he going to have another go? He is going to have another go. What's she doing? Church tower, church spire's nice. Look, she's going to push him up. Nice. You see, I just push the button when things are coming together. That girl's walking across. Well, obviously things look good popped up against the sky like that, don't they? And he's just having his picture taken, but there's the spire, there's the lion, there's the guy, there's the dome. He's got a bald head. Still a bit messy. It's not brilliant. Ladies with their umbrellas here. Like the red bag. And clearly there's a lot of potential, but you just got to, whittle it down. Got to find it. I like this bicycle. Yeah, I mean there's a few elements here. I don't think it's coming together in a nice way. Photographer wandering through there. Look. The 3 kids up there are nice. Actually like the line of flags in the top right hand corner. I'm stepping back a bit to get that in. Kids have broken up. All I'm getting at the moment is chaos out of chaos, not order out of chaos. Which is so often the way. Look at it. That's nice. Lots of nice little groups. Kid running. Wow, look. Bit of overlapping. I don't like the overlapping, but overlapping of figures. It was nice for a second there. I had to crouch a little bit to keep my verticals vertical. I know some people are concerned, get worried about photographing kids. That couple's good. That's nice, I like that. The couple with all the kids. Yeah, it's quite nice. Look at the kids jumping down. Now kids photobombing them behind it. They're arranged quite nicely. Oh. Oh. So me being me, I'm reticent to leave my composition. I always got about this sort of discipline of composition, but that's nice. Isn't that nice for a moment? And they're moving all the time, look. Yeah, that's quite nice for a second. We'll have a look in the edit later to see if it made anything. Quite like this guy with his hands on the tail of the lion there, look. That's unusual, isn't it? The girl's sort of hugging the lion. What are they doing? I don't know, but I quite like it. What a funny little group of people. That's quite nice, wasn't it? I don't know what they were doing. Getting emotional about our lions, our Edward Landseer lions. One of the earliest photographs I've seen of Trafalgar Square was actually by William Henry Fox Talbot, one of the inventors of the photographic medium. So they're good. Look, one high, one low. That kid on the side is nice. Lights contrasty. And this is what you get. You get these fascist wardens come and tell you not to climb on the lions. There's 2 pigeons are there, like a couple of lovers, aren't they, below that couple, which I quite like. There's a little relationship there. It's like the pigeons are one of the couples. Demonstration going on. I'm not generally attracted to these sorts of things. I never really come to demos. It's a real studenty subject. Recently we've had a lot of climate change demonstrations in the city, and I've not come down to do them because they're just I don't know. They're not the unusual in the everyday, which is what I'm interested in, making something out of nothing. You know, they're an event, a pre-organised event. Lord knows what this one's for. Now if I'm here and I see something, I'll look at it, but I wouldn't make a special journey. So although I have the whole of Trafalgar Square at my disposal, I tend to, hang around the same little area all the time. That's kind of my way. There's kids running backwards and forwards. Let's get square onto this scene. Sorry.
What was it? One single peppercorn fit. And then I have.
So what we're kind of taking here, like little tableaus, aren't we? A bit like this tableau of figures above us from the Battle of Trafalgar. It's groups of people arranged together to make a story that probably isn't really there. Look at the height of this picture, and his figures stretched from top to bottom, and I like that. The church spire is nice. Look at this placing of the spire. Couple walking in, they're just going in that gap. Oh, some idiot walks in front of me. It's quite nice, isn't it? So you hang around Trafalgar Square, that sort of shit happens all day long. Makes you feel like Martin Parr. The DKNY and the hat's quite nice, isn't it? So yeah, as I said, I've got the whole of Trafalgar Square that I could wander off and take pictures, but I find it easier to work in one little space where I can make a nice background. Sorry. People think I'm talking to myself. Little do they know. Like these umbrellas. Nice with the flag. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, I like that guy on the back. I like the 4 kids at the top of the steps. It's a bit untidy, bottom right hand corner. He's good in that gap, isn't he? But what have I got to go with it? It's not enough on its own.
Give me the video.
That's great, isn't it? That's nice.
At the work, her arm is dislocated. Hey.
So I thought I'd just recap some of the main points from that video. I started talking about having a consistent technical approach. Working with a camera and lens setup that you like, and just getting really familiar with that, so you really know what you're doing, and you know exactly where to stand when you see a scene. That really is going to help you. Also, don't try to photograph the whole city. You'll notice that I often work in quite a small area. I think if you try to photograph the whole city, you just miss everything. Whereas if you just work on one street corner or one square like Trafalgar, then you actually, it focuses your vision and you actually start to really see things happening. So one of the things you see me doing in the video is just being very aware of the space, not just the vicinity close to where you're shooting, but the background, what's happening beyond, the buildings, the skyline, church spires, the dome that I was using of the National Gallery. At one point, I put a young guy silhouetted against the sky, but I put him in the space between two buildings, a dip in the skyline. So wherever you're working, just be aware of what's behind you, what your backdrop is, what the distance there is in that shot. Views away from the square or the road where you are actually photographing. Those can all be really important aspects of a shot. And then I spoke about bringing elements together in the frame, just creating a dialogue between different aspects. I used the example of the lion and the foot, which is incredibly simple example, which is why I use it in teaching, because you're creating humor out of two kind of very, very simple objects. But I kind of think that there's a big degree of that in pretty much all street photography, even the bigger, wider frames that I'm creating. In one of them, there's the girl that jumps down. Her bag has a picture of a fox on the bag, and then there's the pigeons in the scene. And I actually see a relationship, a kind of predatory relationship between those two things, even though it's not what the picture's about. It's all in there, creating an extra dialogue. So that's something to really think about when you're putting things together in the frame. You also see me spending a lot of time watching people, particularly groups of people. And I think having a lot of empathy for people in a public place really helps you to predict what they're about to do. So there's one scene with the family and the kids doing a selfie. There's the guy helping the girl down from the lion. And then there's the other group where they're pushing a girl up, a whole 5 or 6 of them all helping this girl to climb up towards the lion. So you can really get involved with other people in a public place, and it really helps you predict what they might be about to do. Again, in this video, you see me being very patient, spending a lot of time with one scene, making a lot of pictures. And I'm also being very disciplined with my composition. So it's very tempting to wander off to the left or the right and see other things, but then you lose that lovely composition that you've found and that you've started to watch in the first place. So having a little bit of discipline with that and letting things unfold within that frame, can really deliver results. I think it's very important to trust your instinct, follow your instinct. If you think something is interesting, if it captures your attention, either because it's funny or it's surreal or there's something that appeals to you, just trust in that feeling and go for it. Spend some time with that scene and explore it, because that's what's going to make your pictures different to mine and everybody else's. Now in these videos, I'm just showing you how I like to make pictures. I'm not telling you, you should make pictures like me or work in the same way. I'm really just giving you an example of an approach to squeezing pictures out of nothing, really. You will find and develop your own way with time. So don't necessarily go out there and copy my approach. Just take a leaf out of my book when it comes to having your own approach. So I never really know what I'm going to find when I go out making these videos. I literally go shooting on the streets and take you guys with me. Sometimes lovely things will materialize in front of the lens, sometimes they won't. That's just street photography. I firmly believe, though, that really great street photographs happen while you are out making good ones. And if you're out consistently making good street photographs, every now and then you'll take something really fantastic that you'll enjoy for the rest of your life. And I think that's why we will do it. So grab your cameras and get out there.